Today's video is brought to you by Crazy Neighbours. Better go close my window. Even though our neighbours have moved out, I still think we should close it because I think the new neighbours are kind of can get a bit angry as well. So anyway, today my story about our crazy neighbour. I swear we are blessed with the best luck when it comes to crazy neighbors, because this is the second time. The first one, which I have a link in the description, is when I was living in America. We had neighbors that had sex at 4 AM and they were like yelling out really loudly. Go watch that video if you like to hear crazy neighbor stories that were like driving us insane in the middle of the night. But this one is, well, we've always known these neighbors to be like the angry neighbor, because we would often hear them just yelling like over the it's like sometimes they just stand right outside their gate and yell over the whole neighborhood. And like we've even gotten calls a couple of times, them asking, have you heard any disruptances in your neighborhood? And I was like, yeah, the neighbors next door, they get angry a lot. So yeah, anyway, so when we first moved in, they were already moved in when we moved in this place. So, and we just kind of like randomly would hear them yell, and the guy loves to say fuck, you know. It's like we call him the fuck guy because it's like every second word he'll say fuck ma. So we've never really had a run-in with them, thank God, because I'm really kind of scared. But anyway, the first really major thing that I was actually aware of was I don't know if they're married or not, but the woman decided to lock the guy out, and he was so angry. I actually still have a live footage of that, even though I didn't record the whole thing, but it was really funny. Like for a long time he was like just bashing on the door like, open the door, she locked me out. And I could hear the woman inside going like, just stop being a dummy, or something, like, I don't know, just like some kind of insult. And then he was just like, she's being a dog. Like, instead of like saying bitch, he specifically said, she's being a dog. I just think it's interesting that someone would say dog instead of bitch or something like that. I don't know, just anyway, we could hear him for a long time just yelling and yelling and yelling and just bashing on the door. And I could hear the neighbor from the other side was trying to help him. He was like, trying to calm him down kind of thing, and he was just like, no. Anyway, yeah, I'm pretty sure at the end she eventually unlocked the door to let him in, because yeah.
She's not being for no fucking reason. She's being a fucking dog. I'll do whatever the fuck I can.
Right. You're not going to have the door if you don't open it.
She doesn't care. She does not care.
So that was the first major thing that we heard that was just like, oh my god. We heard the neighbors like loud arguing, and then we just open the window slowly, because you don't want the neighbors to know that you're listening in, right? Because it's so interesting that if like, so we open this window slowly, and then we peek out, and then we ended up hearing a lot of what was going on. And it was apparently the guy was really angry because some neighbor was playing loud things. And it's ironic because they often like have days where they would play extremely loud music. It would go through the walls. It would literally make the walls and our neighborhood vibrate a bit because it was so loud. And it was just funny the way he was like, I can hear it through the wall. I have a live footage of that too. Check it out.
No, turn it down. Fuck. Get the fuck listening to the shit. Turn it down. Get the fuck listening to it. It's going straight to the fucking injury. You're too loud to some dickhead. It doesn't matter how fucking loud it is. It's going straight to our fucking wall. We haven't turned our TV up at the fucking people's door. It's about fucking 20. We can hear it through our fucking wall. Turn the fucking shit down. I'm fucking over it. Every fucking night, almost every fucking night. Even when we're fucking not here, you're constantly in your fucking day all fucking night.
So what I really want to ask is, do you guys get any more? But I tried to like subtitle, like add text of what I could hear. I can't actually make out a lot of what he was saying. If you guys, anyone could make out a sentence that he's saying, please leave it in the comments, because I really want to know what he was saying. It's just so funny. Oh my god. And eventually, like, we actually later, just one day, we saw like these workers, they were wearing these masks, and it was like, it looked like they were like wearing these thick outfits with masks, going in with like these thing, and we were just like, what is going on? And then we found out that they had been kicked out of the house. And when for a long time we were trying to get the reason why, because, you know, it's like you just really want to know kind of thing. So there were workers who were like throwing out a giant amount of trash out from their apartment unit, whatever. It's like a townhouse. So anyway, yeah, they were just like chucking all these things out, chucking a bunch of things from their house. Apparently they got kicked out. They never even took any of their stuff. They lost their TV and everything. Like they just the first thing that we got from someone, the first bit of information that someone told us was that they were druggies. So apparently they did drugs, and I don't know if they were found out or it was from other reasons, but they were like, the workers were coming to do everything. Like, they had to do a lot of maintenance because the backyard and the front yard was full of like grass that was literally like longer than me, like taller than me. When the workers were working over there, I was in the yard, so he peeked over. He was like, hey, how's it going? Oh, we're just doing some work. And then I said, oh. And then he asked me something about, oh, the neighbours. And I said, oh, did the neighbours move out? He's like, yeah. And then I think I said something like the neighbours were like arguing and swearing a lot. And then he goes, oh, I bet you're very glad that they moved out. And I said, no, I'm not actually. I actually was very entertained by their loud yelling, because it was just interesting to listen to. And then he goes, yeah, it's the situation when you hear the neighbour, what do? You turn down the TV and you open the window and you... So anyway, that actually we didn't really think much about it until one day we were in the back and we ran into the neighbour from the other side. We saw the neighbour that was next door to them, and we asked him, like, do you know anything about why the neighbours like just moved out suddenly? And then he actually knew them personally, so he knew what was happening, and he told us things that were really shocking. The first thing was, at one stage they had 10 to 20 dogs. And apparently they had left the dogs in the house for weeks at a time without food. It was horrifying. Like, I remember hearing the dogs howl, and I felt so bad for the dogs. A lot of the times I felt like just like trying to take the dogs away, because it was like day in, day out, like all I could hear was this, oh, like this sad howl. And then when I realized that they had like, at that time they had 2 dogs that they didn't even feed. They, like, the neighbor was literally trying to cut the security door, the material down to give them some food. It was just so horrifying. Poor dogs. I really feel sad for that. When I heard that, I just couldn't believe it. Like, they would just leave the dogs, and apparently they were drug addicts, and they had a lot of medical issues, and they couldn't even, like, they had thousands, like $3,000 electric bill overdue, and thousands of dollars in rent that they haven't even paid off. And eventually they just they were kicked out because of all these things added together, I'm pretty sure. And their house was completely destroyed because the dogs would like chew up the cardboard and like shit everywhere. There was like literally shit everywhere in their house. That's what I was told. And they had puppies, like the dogs gave birth to puppies, and then it was just a very horrifying story. When you hear it like that, it's like, oh my god. I think the neighbours are now living with one of the parents, and the dogs are living with the parents, so they're being looked after better, thank god, because I feel so sad for the dogs, you know, the dogs don't deserve that. Ugh. Anyway, so this is the crazy neighbour story that I have. Do you have any crazy neighbour stories? I really love to hear. And don't forget to check out the other video that I made of our neighbours in America were having sex at 4 a.m. and they would make a lot of loud noises, and they'd be like, and you gotta see the video. Go check it out, I'll link it. Thank you so much for watching. Please share some of your crazy neighbour stories. I would really love to hear.